Hello, and welcome to another episode of the B2B Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Nils Vinje, and today I'm going to be talking about how having passion and sincere interest in what you're doing as a leader is incredibly important. Now, in a previous episode, number 84, I talked about how taking time off can actually help you get promoted. And I shared the story of how I took time off from my job without taking PTO and was able to get promoted as a result. And the short version is that I took time off and I went to a leadership coach training program over the course of 6 months and acquired an entirely new skill set that gave me a tremendous amount of new opportunities to add more value to my organization. And that additional value I was adding was rewarded with a promotion. Now, at the end of this coach training program, there was a very significant exercise that the leader had us do. And it went like this. We were all in one room and we removed all the chairs. So just think of a big blank open room. And she took a roll of masking tape, and she started on one side of the room and drew a line straight across the other. So we've got two halves of this room. Everybody was now on one side of the room. And the exercise was relatively simple. This was the end of 6 months of training and learning how to become a leadership coach. And she asked one simple, very powerful question. What do you commit to at the end of this training program? This was our last weekend. It was one of the very last exercises we did. And so what we had to do was come up with what we commit to, and then we were going to share it as we jumped over the line. This masking tape line in the middle of the room was a metaphor for our transition from where we had been as students to what we're going to do as coaches. And so I thought about this for several minutes. I wasn't entirely sure what to say as I jumped across, and some other people started going and they leapt across the line and shared what they committed to doing, which was quite inspiring and it was really cool. I thought it was a little bit corny at first, but actually it was incredibly powerful. So I thought about this and then it came to me and I knew exactly what I was going to say and I started to get really excited. So when it was my turn, I ran up and I jumped over the line and I yelled at the top of my lungs that I commit to sharing my gift of coaching with the world. That was it. That was my entire next commitment to myself and to this training program and to all of the future clients that I would have. Now, what this did was help solidify inside of me the energy that I had that I wanted to share with other people. And it all centered around coaching. I am deeply passionate about coaching and its role in leadership. And I think some of the most effective leaders are coaches. And coaches are some of the most effective leaders. So I remember specifically after this weekend, this was our 6th month, it was the last time I would be with this group of people, and I left with this incredible feeling of just energy and passion, and I couldn't really contain it. And there was one more exercise they asked us to visualize what this feeling really was like. And I thought about what I said, crossing the line of I commit to sharing my gift of coaching with the world. And what I visualized and when I closed my eyes is exactly what I saw. I saw this incredible bursts of energy, like balls, like think the sun. And they would emanate from my core. And even if I was just standing there and I had this bright light shining out of me all the time that represented my coaching that I wanted to share with other people. So at any point in time, I could visualize this energy coming through me and being present with me in my hands that I could then gift to other people, and it would automatically help them feel what I was feeling. And this could help them overcome one of the situations they were in. It could help them just feel a different way, see a situation a different way. That was my gift that I was planning to share with other people. And this felt so good. I remember the morning after this Sunday of this training session, and I was standing on the BART platform in the East Bay, and it was really cold. And I remember standing at that platform, just looking at all these people. And if you've ever been on public transit platform, you know most people are standing around, staring at their phones, heads down, and just not really terribly excited, especially on a Monday morning. And I just imagined for a moment taking these incredible balls of energy from my core and sharing them with each other people. It just made me really happy. I didn't talk to any of them, but I imagined what it would be like to share this gift. Now, I had told many people inside of my companies and my friends and whatever about the coach training program I was going through. It was over 6 months, so I had a lot of time. So I told a number of people about it. And the interesting thing was, I couldn't hide my excitement. I was deeply passionate about it. Once I found out and got into the training, I wanted to do it more and more and more. I was infinitely curious. So when people would ask me about it, I would share some details, but then I'd be really curious about them because ultimately I wanted to share my gift. Wasn't necessarily just focused on money right away to sell something. I just literally wanted to help people with these incredible new tools that I had acquired. So this is where the curiosity played a tremendous role because people were curious about me and what a coaching program was and what kind of help I could provide to them. And I was curious about them. So this led to me starting to work with clients at night and on the weekends. Now, again, remember from back, I laid the groundwork for this in episode 84, but I had just had my third child with my wife. And I was working downtown San Francisco, very, very busy times, taking BART train in, working 10, 12 hours a day, going back home. And I still found the energy to take on clients and work with them in the evenings, sometimes late into the evenings, and then on the weekends as well. And the reason I was able to do that was because I was deeply passionate about sharing my gift and helping these other people. And regardless of how frustrated I was that day or how down my energy level was, as soon as I got into a coaching situation, everything changed. It actually brought a tremendous amount of energy to me. And that's how I was able to do this on the nights and the weekends. And I wasn't even really trying, but I ended up paying myself back for the entire coach training program within a matter of, I think, 6 months or something, based on working with other clients. Now, that was the clients who were paying me outside. I also started working with clients inside the organization. Some of my friends, right, who were fellow leaders at the time and were rising through the ranks just like me. I started to coach them because I knew I could confidently help them handle any situation. My team, I use these coaching skills every single week with my team, and we became one of the most driven and passionate teams inside that organization that even to this day, I could still call up any one of those team members and we could go back right to where we were many, many years ago. So when you're truly driven and passionate about something that you're doing, right, you're willing to do whatever it takes. That's the key lesson here. And why I share this story is that up to this point, I really had no idea where that passion was for me. I had no clue that coaching was a key linchpin for me in that moment, but also for the next decade plus. And I never would have known it had I not taken the first step and pushed myself to enroll in that coach training program, to invest money that I didn't have, and to acquire a new set of skills. But it opened a tremendous amount of doors. And then it showed me what I was willing to do in order to keep progressing, in order to share my gift of coaching with the world. Working nights, working weekends, with 3 little kids, working a very demanding job. I was willing to do all of that on top of everything that was going on. So when you are really driven and you are really passionate, you are willing to do anything, whatever it takes. So the question for you is, what are you truly driven and passionate to do? Are you driven and passionate about being a leader? I hope so. I hope that's part of why you listen to this podcast. And do you want to be the absolute best leader that anyone who ever works for you in their entire career has ever worked for? Right? That's an incredible hallmark and an incredible feeling to know that someone else positively thinks about your leadership that way. And that was an incredibly rewarding thing for me, and still is, and is also for the members of my B2B Leaders Academy. So if that is true, if you want to be the absolute best leader that anyone who ever works for you has ever worked for, then I invite you to join me in the B2B Leaders Academy, where I will empower you with the tools to confidently handle any situation. And you can determine whether or not leadership is the thing you are most passionate about and willing to do whatever it takes in order to share your incredible gifts with the world. So I invite you to join me. Just simply go to B2B, letter B, number 2, letter B, leadersacademy.com/join, and I can't wait to partner with you.